Hey guys, it's Eileen again, and today I want to talk about happiness. So, the more and more I learn things, the more and more I realize I don't know anything, and there's so much in this world. However, I have been learning and really starting to grasp the idea and understand that being happy, no matter where I am, is really what matters the most. Because if I can control my emotions and I can be happy, then that'll just bring like-minded individuals, like-minded situations, and happy things that come to me. And it's funny, right? Like Peter Pan, he had it figured out. Think happy thoughts. And if you think happy thoughts, you go into this world of amazing realities. So the reason why I was doing that, I live in San Antonio, Texas. Well, I live on the outskirts, like literally right outside the city limit. And man, this city's growing fast. And it's huge. I love it because it's not crowded. It's not as big as Dallas or Houston. It's definitely not nearly as crowded as Austin. And it's got a really homey feel to it. And it's just like spread out everywhere. And we have theme parks. We have major corporations with their headquarters here. And it's just a beautiful city. And it has even more beautiful people in it. Anyways, I am always driving through these back roads. This week, I have been driving so much. It's crazy. But right now, I'm driving through these back roads, and it reminded me of when I used to live in this little town called Bulverde, Texas. And that used to be 45 minutes to an hour, depending on traffic, one way to where my business was located. And I sometimes would get frustrated with the drive because I'm like, oh my gosh, like I have to wake up extra early, or I have to, really plan my day out because I am going to be very far away from home. So if I forget something, that sucks. Or, whatever. But what I really liked when I used to live out in the hill country was that it was so peaceful and it was quiet and it was a time for me to kind of zone out, meditate, think about life, think about situations. Sometimes, a lot of the times, problem solve just by thinking like, how can I come up with a solution? But what I loved most about it was just the serenity of the scenery, and I guess the fact that I used to live on 3 acres, and I believe my neighbors had like 8 acres, 10 acres, like everyone had a lot of land, and it was just peaceful. Like I got to just sit with my thoughts, and that was comforting. And right now I'm driving by where there are a lot of homes with big pieces of land. Everyone's got horses or goats, or they have big irrigation systems for their crops. And it's really cool.
In a quarter mile, turn left onto Pew Road.
Well, in a quarter mile, I will be turning left. Anyways, it just reminds me to just be happy. And the happier I am, the better situations come my way.
Turn left onto Pew Road.
This is my experience, and I can only come from my experience, my opinion. I can't talk about anyone else. And even
continue on Pew Road for half a mile.
It's so funny, guys. Well, I guess you get to hear my GPS a lot on these podcasts. So in essence, what I'm saying is I could be happy anywhere, because there were a lot of reasons for me to choose to be unhappy while living out in the hill country. One of them was that there were so many scorpions, and there were huge tarantulas, like the size of my hand. There were wild deer. There were all sorts of critters. And it was really far. I had to have my own...
In a quarter mile, turn right to stay on Pew Road.
I had to have my own well, and the well bladder busted one time, and it was expensive, and, you know, I can't throw certain things into the dirty water in my house.
Turn right to stay on Pew Road, then turn left onto Texas 1604 Loop West.
That's so funny, guys. Because I had a special septic tank, and, you know, there were all these reasons to not be happy about living out there. But the more I focused on
turn left
happy,
onto Texas 1604 Loop West.
Oh my gosh, this GPS is driving me nuts. Well, now I know where I am, so I'm gonna just go ahead and exit the GPS because it's driving me crazy. So anyways, being happy no matter where I am, no matter what the situation is, it's a choice. And we all have that choice. We could be going through the most horrible situation, financial ruin, especially right now with 2020, where everything's like up in the air. Every day, everything is changing. You just don't know what's going to happen. It gets crazier and crazier sometimes. You could look at the bad, or you could choose to be grateful for what you do have. You know, sometimes I have to really, really break it down to get out of the negativity, or to, you know, stop all these emotions or thoughts that are cascading all over, and they're building, and then before you know it, it's like a freaking landslide of just all these negative thoughts and how things are just going wrong. Then I have to remember to breathe. Like, okay, you know what? Am I alive? Yes. Am I healthy? Yes. Are all my organs functioning properly? Yes. Do I have all my limbs? Yes. Can I use all my senses? Yes. You know, do I have a roof over my head today? Yes. Do I have running water? Do I have clean water? Do I have hot water? Do I have food that is accessible to me? Do I have at least $1 to my name? Do I have shoes? Do I have clothes? Do I have access to a washing machine? Do I have dishes? You know, there's all these things that I take for granted every day. Do I have a car? You know, it's crazy to me how quickly I can take for granted all the amazing things that I have. Do I have loved ones in my life? Are they healthy? Do they know that I care about them? Do I have a phone? Can I communicate to people? Do I have access to the internet? Do you know, sometimes I stop to think, like, how many people in this world don't have probably 90% of the simple things that I take for granted sometimes that I just mentioned? There's so many people that wish they had health, that wish they could see, that wish they could taste, that wish they had, you know, a functioning liver, kidneys that filter out all the waste in my body. You know, and there's people that don't have legs, people that can't walk, people that can't hear. Like, I really want to be grateful for all these things, and I start being grateful and making a mental list, even just talking it out loud right now. It makes me feel good. And when I feel good, I get happier. And the happier that I am, the easier it is for me to go on through my day, to be able to forget whatever was bothering me earlier. Because I used to compete. I know some of you guys know this already. For those of you guys that don't, I used to do bikini division competitions in the NPC world, which is basically bodybuilding for ladies, and it's the glamorous side of it. And let me tell you, towards the end, it gets rough mentally and physically. And I couldn't drink water. I was not allowed to drink water. I was not allowed to take a shower. I was not allowed to have any seasonings of any kind or any salt in my food. I was very limited on the amount of food that I could have, and the items that I was allowed to have. So it was, oh my gosh, like I have access to water. Like I can drink water whenever I want. I can breathe easily. How many people, unfortunately, because of everything that's going on right now with the pandemic, had trouble breathing? I can breathe. I can see. I can speak. I speak 2 languages. I have hair on my head. How many people don't have that? I have shoes. I have clothes. I'm very fortunate to have all those things. And so that allows me to be happy. Because no matter what situation I'm going through, there's somebody out in the world that has it worse. And I'm grateful I'm not that person. And then I start getting happier and happier. And I also ask myself this question: what's the blessing in all of this? Because there's always a blessing. And if I choose to focus on that, even though I can't see the blessing in the moment, and even though I'm just like, are you freaking kidding me right now? There's no freaking way that there could be a blessing in all this, craziness that's going on right now in my life, or, in anyone's life for that matter. There always is. And there's always something to be grateful for. And when I, fight for finding something to be grateful for, it's like taking that baby step to feeling a little bit better, and a little bit better, and a little bit better, until I'm happy. Sometimes I just watch Nacho Libre, or I watch something funny, or I'll get on TikTok and just watch funny videos, and then it allows me to not necessarily be distracted per se of whatever situation is causing me stress or dis-ease, but it allows me to focus on something better, and then I get happier and happier and happier. And then I personally believe that the higher the vibration, which means the happier that I'm feeling, the better that I'm feeling, when I feel really good, the better situations come my way. And if I just kind of look at it from a logistics standpoint, when I'm focused on a problem and I keep focusing on it and focusing on it so that I can make it better, that's not going to be the same vibration as focusing on a solution. But Eileen, how can I focus on the solution without actually looking at the problem? Well, see, in my opinion, and what I've learned is that the solution and the problem are 2 completely different vibrations, 2 completely different sides of the spectrum. So, focus on what I want instead of what I don't want. So many mentors and teachers and courses and studies that I've done continue to repeat the same thing. Focus on what you want. Don't focus on what you don't want. Focus on you. Don't focus on what everybody else is doing. Yes, you can be aware of the competition or of, the market, or, obviously global events, like let's say a pandemic. However, do your best to focus on you and on your project and what you're doing. And then there's another gold nugget here that I'd like to leave you with, is that don't talk to people about stuff that they're not ready to hear. And talk to like-minded individuals about your ideas and about what makes you feel good and what makes you happy. Don't go talking to somebody that, is, let's say, just for example, if you're pro Democratic Party, don't go talk to them about Donald Trump. They're not gonna